Hey, what's up, Ward Wrestling, man? What a day. It's been my first day back doing pre-recording, and it's been a blast. I miss these. So I'm here. Obviously, this one's close to my heart as my son is a wrestler for Cook and Norton up there. But I'm here with Zach Cook. If you don't know about North Central College and Fear the Bird and what they're doing up there, then you must live under a rock. But they're doing some great things up there, men and women's. Uh, so yeah, Zach Cook, man, what's going on? I just saw you a few days ago at the Olympic trials. It was kind of cool to see you.
Yeah, thanks for the intro, Dan. Appreciate all the kind words, John. Yeah, we were out at State College and Olympic trials. So man, I hadn't seen you in a while, so it's good to run into you out there on the floor.
Yeah, it was. I think I was texting you yesterday. It was like Christmas morning, but better, right?
Better, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to be there in that room, I think I was talking to you like there were people going 0-2 that have won four Fargos, three Fargos, two world titles, silver medalists, and they're losing, and it was insane to watch. But you guys, man, you guys brought what I now I know uh, you were kind of paired up CWC and TMWC, right? Both of you guys
Yeah.
were kind of together, and I saw where what you had like 11 girls, 10 girls. How many?
We had six out there, four that are still in
Six.
school, and then well, sorry, five. Elena came back, so we had five that were still in school, and then Amanda is like a part-time coach and still training here. So six total, and then Amanda and Elena they've been picked up by Titan Mercury for the last 3 or 4
Nice.
years.
And
It's
Amanda is the one that beat Amani in the what is that like the blood? Was that the blood round?
It
Was that the
was
match before?
the blood round. Yep.
So one of them made the national team, and one of them.
Well, no, you had to place top four, so they made that was getting into the Conci semis, and then Amanda lost in the Conci semis. So it was just crazy how they organized it, and like they didn't do any backside rounds that Friday night, so it was all on Saturday morning.
Yeah, but they obviously know each other well, so it was. You said Amanda. What it was her. I guess it
Yeah,
was her day, right? But Amani looked really good. She wrestled really well. I got to see her wrestle up close. I mean, she always looks well, right? And
yeah,
obviously
yeah.
the match you guys had with Yelena and Kylie Welker, she was that was man, it was her day, right? I mean, her and Kylie have wrestled what five times,
Yeah,
and and the last two times it hasn't gone. It's gone Kylie's way, and then this time it went Yelena's way, and um, I don't know. It was awesome. I tell you, I was. What did I tell? I got that picture of her with her hand pumped,
yeah,
and uh, and I love Kylie because of my Spartan ties and things like that. I've gotten to know her over the years. I interviewed her even before she was Spartan, and she's a great young lady. Obviously, she can wrestle, and
yeah.
so I'm over there watching that match because affectionately at North Central and her, and meanwhile Spencer Lee is wrestling right in front of me. But I'm trying to take, and then Nick, and then Forrest Molinari comes on, and I'm trying to watch her as I mean, obviously Spencer Lee's right there, right? So
Yeah.
to get that fist pump for you was awesome, and uh, you obviously had a great moment there. So talk
It
about
was.
her feeling after that match.
Well, yeah, in the last, they wrestled twice in this season in college, and but they had many battles in the years prior, and Kylie's dominated that series, and the two matches in college weren't close this year. And I know she took that loss in the national finals really hard, and she focused on a lot of things. Particularly, she made mistakes in the national finals, and I think it showed in that match the improvements she made in just a short amount of time, and just really some strategy and tactics and mental things, not as much technique. And it showed. I mean, I know she was excited about that, and then quick turnaround. You got to go wrestle Kennedy Blades, and that one was pretty
Yeah,
lopsided the other day. But that's
yeah.
how it is, man. I mean, there was no bad matches there every round this weekend. That's just where you're at. Like you said, multiple time national champs went 0-2. It's just that's the level.
Yeah. I mean, getting to see the matchups were, I mean, for me, I mean, I know you guys have been, I was talking to Enoch earlier, and he's like, we as coaches take it for granted because we're in these rooms a lot, right? And we
Yeah,
don't realize that we're in these rooms because, yeah, I mean, you guys know the level of the tournament you're at, whether it's Worlds or NCAA's or or Olympic trials, but your focus isn't, wow, I'm at the Olympic trials. You guys are tunnel vision. You just know there's a wrestling match. We got to prepare and we got to be out there. Maybe now you can look back and go, wow, that was pretty cool, right? But
I mean, yeah, I think you try to keep that mindset. It's still just like, you're walking around all these former Olympic and world champions and medalists and these elite college athletes from all over the country, and men's and women's, and it's like, this is just a super high level. It's super fun to be in that environment, and I think there was some nerves that went with it for especially our athletes. Some of them, I think 4 of them is their first time ever competing at the Olympic trials, and so definitely nerves that go with that, and they're still young. So yeah, I mean, I think it showed them some of their performances, just the nerves they had, really.
yeah, hold on one second.
Yep.
I had the sorry, I can't not sit here and not put my hand.
Yeah, that's a better look right there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Alara Boyd, if I remember, she ran into a hammer too in her last match. I mean, they're all hammers, but like a really well-known one. I think if I remember right, she had a really high-level girl that she had to face. Yeah, and
every single thing.
I tell you, Amani looked good. Southeast girls. I was just on with Jason Fulmore from the SC Wrestle, and I was telling him that I was coming on with you, and he's like, "Oh, that's where Amani is," because he's a Georgia guy.
Yeah.
She came one match from. Do I remember right? Did she come one match from there? 2 matches? She got pretty close. She was she wrestled in the 3rd session, so she had to be pretty close.
Yeah, she lost in the quarterfinals on the front side, and then came
to
back.
to her teammate, right? Like you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I lost to Amanda on the backstage.
Sydney Petzinger. I was sitting next to her mom. That was fun.
Ronnie. Yep.
She was taking pictures, and I was taking pictures, and then she goes, "Oh, you left me last time." I said, "Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to take pictures of your daughter from this side, I went to the other side. There's no sense in both of us taking the same exact picture from the same exact angle." And then I saw her later on for her second match, and she's like, "Oh, you don't have to send us those pictures." Like, okay. And she said, it just wasn't our day. She said it seemed like she was nervous, had a lot of nerves going into that, and you can understandably so.
Yeah, definitely. That's a fair way to assess it. Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, fast forward. I mean, you guys runner up in the girls this year. You were in the semis on the boys' side, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys had a great year both sides, but let's talk about. I mean, I'm down here in Florida, and you know me, I'm preaching North Central all the time. It's a great program. We send a lot of kids there to come interview, obviously. I wanted to ask, because I know when I talked to you guys, got Callie Alfieri coming up there, and when I connected you guys, that was awesome, and she's up there now. Well, not now, but she will be. But you hear a lot of people say, well, they don't give money for wrestling, and so we got to go somewhere else, right? I'm sure you hear it, because if you just go to Naperville and go to your campus and sit down with you guys, I rarely think anybody leaves that place going, man, I don't want to be here, right? I mean, it's just
it sells itself.
It sells itself.
Yeah.
I mean, and you guys do a hell of a job. I mean, not too many people are developing boys and girls the way you develop them. The room is incredible. The safety of the town in walking distance. I mean, the class size. I can keep going if you need help, but I got you. So Callie said it best. I was in a room with her. There was a lot of girls around, and she mentioned North Central. Oh, you should come with us. And somebody said, "Oh yeah, but they can't give me money for school, blah, blah." And she said to that person, "You get the same amount of money if you look at it from an education standpoint. If your grades are good, and you take a look at everything, even though they're calling it wrestling money and they're calling it academic money, you're getting pretty much the same offer from all the schools. It just comes from a different place. But everybody has this perception that they don't even give you a look because they have the perception that they can't how do we change that perception, or how do we educate people that? I know you're trying, right?
That's $1 million question. I wish I had that, because that's the conversation you have with every, especially elite level recruit we're going after, that we want, but so do all these D1s and D2s and elite Division III schools that we've worked our way up into being. I mean, that's tough. I mean, you just got to tell them like it's a process. I mean, yeah, unless it's a true full ride, we're pretty much competitive with most schools out there. That's D1, D2, D3s, NAIs. It's just the process to get to that dollar figure takes a little bit longer, based on our timeline. And so that's where just educating parents and the athletes, like, hey, you just got to be patient with us and trust the process. And unless it's a true full ride, I feel like we can be competitive at the end of the day. And that out of pocket dollar amount, all of our kids are paying to go to school here. I mean, between our men's and women's teams, we have dang near 90, 95 wrestlers on campus. I mean, there wouldn't be that many wrestlers if they were paying that sticker price of 58, 59, whatever it is now. Like, they would not be here. There's no way they could afford it. So that's just where we're educating families, and it feels like we're doing it a lot more than we ever have. But hey, that's part of the job, and we know that going into it. And the kids that we want are getting recruited by a lot of different places, and so that's what we're having those conversations daily, really.
Yeah, me too, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I know you are.
Yeah,
you're hustling down there for us.
By the way, I'm trying, man. I'm like, yeah, you got to go. At least give them a look. At least give them a look. I had Gabby on earlier.
Yeah.
And there was she fell in love with both places, and it just came down to a few different. I don't know. She really likes Emma Bruntiel. She's been a fan of hers for a long time, so I think that kind of put her over the edge. But you never know what the future holds, right?
Yeah, you never know, man. Things can change abruptly, and I know her boyfriend Elijah Lowe too, man. I really love that guy, and he's going to go to Chattanooga and try D1, but I think we're pretty tough too.
Yeah, well, he had that opportunity, right? Because he was able to excel this year and jump levels, and it got him some calls, and he still doesn't know who he wrestled that put him on the map with UTC, but apparently he wrestled one of their recruits, and he wrestled him tough, and that's what made them give him a call, because they were like, that's pretty good, right? So we'll see how he does. We wish him well. We hope he does well. We pray for him, and he's a great kid, great family. Dad was a D1 athlete, and
great kid.
And we hope he does well. But I want them all to come to you, by the way.
Hey, man, me too. All the good ones, yeah.
So, man, are you guys? Do you have kids going out to Vegas?
We are not. We're not going to Vegas this weekend. We have several of our men getting ready for the Chippies qualified for the U20 World Team Trials based on placing second at Division IIIs this year. And then we have several guys that are going out in the U23 division out in Geneva, Ohio. And luckily that's 5.5 hours. We can drive that pretty easily. So that's the first weekend in June. So they got about a month of training left.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about both because if people don't know, he's the head coach of the boys' side, associate head coach of the girls' side. So he's involved in all things wrestling there. So he's not just the men's or the women's coach. He coaches everyone. But so you've been to 2 national NCAAs this year, men's side, girls' side. On the boys' side, man, Chippy makes one hell of a run. He and the young man from JWU, who's obviously he's a great young man, great kid. Also, it looks like he's a man already. He was recruited by Scotty Sentes, a Florida guy who's over in Campbell, and judo kid. And I know Chippy lost to him last year with that crazy standing bundle the kid does, which is insane to watch. It's pretty insane, but they both just marched right through to the finals. Both of them start pinning each other. And I know Chippy wanted to wrestle him again, got there and really gave him, didn't get pinned, pushed him all the way to the end of the match, lost significant points, but, got to his leg a few times. But talk about that run with Chippy, man. Chippy has really, he was a state champ in Florida. He was a good wrestler. He's become exceptional. I mean, he's jumped some serious levels with you guys up there. What's that process been like grooming him?
A lot of fun. He is one of the most consistent and just fiery competitors I've been able to coach. And just it's every day with him. I never know when he's having a bad day, and that's something that I think rubs off on all of his teammates. And man, I just he wanted that match bad with Fry since last year in the national semis, and he got it. And yeah, he definitely made improvements and gains, but there's still quite a gap there that he's got to you know increase his level. And the thing about it is he wasn't sulking. I mean, he took that night he's pretty pissed off, and then the next day it's like, well, I got to get better, and he's so mature for his age and just sees things in a different perspective than most. And I'm excited for the levels he jumped last summer. He stayed up here and trained all summer with the guys on the team. I saw him all the time when I was walking through the room, and I know he's doing the same thing again this year. And so I'm really excited, and I think he's just going to pull guys along with him. So he's getting better as well as the team.
And correct me if I'm. First of all, I'll tell you that in a second. But first of all, and to correct me if I'm wrong, his skill set seemed pretty close. His strength is the power difference seemed very off because if he could have pulled that leg in a couple times and got those takedowns, now you're looking at a 2-point match, a 3-point match. But he just every time he'd get to a leg, it would stall out because the kid was just so strong. It seemed like the strength was there. And as far as being a great kid, he's been a blessing for my son. He's kind of taken my son by the back of the collar, and he's hanging out with him. He's keeping him on the right track. And my son came home and like, man, the kid, it's been a blessing to be around him. So you probably see it firsthand.
Oh, he's the man. What I love about him is he's got a great personality, but he's pretty blunt when he likes telling you something like, dude, don't do that. Like, you need to do it this way and not that way. Like, so he's very likable. He's a leader in the room by his work ethic and his actions. And then if he needs to be vocal, he will, and that's something we've seen out of him since really he first got to campus as a freshman. And he was he wrestled 13 as senior in high school, was barely weighing 130 pounds. That was something he worked hard at all last summer, is trying to put on more strength and more muscle, and just he was still kind of growing, and I don't want to call him a little boy, but Fry is a full-grown man. Chippy is still trying to develop.
You heard that a lot. You heard that a lot his senior year during that state. He didn't have a great run in states that year, a great in comparison to his liking, right? And a lot of people would say it was because he was at the wrong weight, right? And he could have done a lot better. But on the other side, and I'm going to take out my headphones because I just heard them after 4 podcasts. I just heard them say,
You're busy this morning.
We're good now? Can you hear me now?
I gotcha. Yep.
So, yeah, on the other end of the spectrum, man, Creason with that broken thumb, he's told don't wrestle, right? He's told by the doctor, hey, it's going to be hard to do what you do. I was with Jeff Riccio this weekend at the event, and he said that the first time we saw Creason get taken down during the tournament, and he really couldn't do Creason type things, it was sad to watch. We knew that he wasn't the same guy.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get over that. But the one thing, I told him this, is that I love him, and he really had no reason to come back, nothing to prove, but he wanted to do it for the team, and that's the biggest thing that I'm so grateful for. Is he came back for the team. He loves this team, and he says it all the time, and his family does. Like everything, it's done for him, and not just wrestling, but his social skills, and he's become more outgoing, and the guys really took him in from the time he was a freshman till now. He's a different guy in a positive way. And yeah, he had no reason after. That thumb, man, that thing was no joke. And I thought there was a couple of times where he was just gonna be like, I'm done, and he basically told those doctors like, F no, like I'm wrestling. And that's just who he is, man. And he loses in the semis. He has no reason to come back. But that's just who he is, and that's
Yeah,
why
he
he's
came back and tried to do the wrestlebacks, right?
100%. He had nothing to show. He had nothing to do it, man. He's a two-time, champ with the 90-match win streak, and that's just who he is, though. He's always going to fight back, even if things don't go his way.
And listen, congratulations to that kid from the Coast Guard, right?
Yeah, Chase Randall, man.
For him, he made his run and he did his job, right? He did what he was supposed to do. He's there to win. And obviously, even Priest with a broken thumb is better than 95% of the kids you're going to wrestle. So you need to show up and still wrestle Priest with a broken thumb, or else you're not going to end up well for you, right? But yeah, that was sad to watch. And I was trying to text Daniel as I was going, and then so yeah, a great run there. I know you guys wish you would have done better. I know you placed the year before, so that kind of hurt there. But you guys will be back. You guys are building, and you guys do a great thing. On the girls' side, man. So you guys are national champs. You guys have built something special. First of all, to be able to build what you guys have built with no money, right? The typical no money, is incredible. Going into this year, we know Iowa's coming, right?
Yeah.
And which is awesome, first of all, right? Because if you love wrestling, then let's get an Iowa team, an Ohio State team, a Stanford. Yeah, bring them all. That's just going to make the sport grow, make you guys work harder, make girls out there at a high level. But everybody, I think, going into it, obviously they had much respect for you, but the public probably had that perception that you guys were going to get smacked, right?
Yeah.
And to go into that duel and lose on criteria, I think that kind of what was obviously the moment sucked because you would rather win on criteria than lose on criteria, right? Yeah. But to finally get into a duel and get to feel them and get to do it and be that close, what was that? What was that like? I mean, how has that changed how you're coaching, how you're thinking, what's the mindset of the girls now that they were able to actually stay in a fight with them?
Yeah, I mean, I think that most schools around the country, when they knew Iowa was coming in this year, they were just like, "Oh, we're going to fight for second," and we never talked about that as a staff, as a team, and our group of leaders on that side of the women's team. They expected to win, like they knew. I think it put them after they won it last year, it put them right back in like a chase, because everybody was writing them off like, "Oh, you're going to take second or third or fourth." They're like, why can't, I mean, they train just like we do. And so I think our team, and it starts with Joe, just said, no, we're going to go after him and we're going to expect to win. And we went in to the national duels, thinking we're going to win. It's going to be tough. We went into the national tournament thinking we're going to win, and we didn't. We lost two tough ones, but I think with just that mentality, it gave them a realistic chance to do that. And I don't know why you would go into anything thinking you're going to lose. I don't care who it is, and that's the way our team was this year.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch, and that statement Amani made with dropping. Who was it that she was wrestling? And she put her in their own stand, in their own corner.
Yeah, Felicity, she won 116, but that was the match at national duels. Yeah.
And meanwhile, we just saw Felicity Taylor run through the Olympic trials, have a hell of a run. She's fun to watch, right? Well, and then you go to NCAA's, right? And now you guys are ahead going into the semis. What do you have? If I remember right, you had 6 girls in the semis?
Oh, more than that, because we lost 7. I think we had a
8 girls, something like that. And
we had a terrible round, but then they fired back on the backside and put us in position going into the finals to win after that terrible semis. And that was pretty, you never know how they're going to respond after getting, like you said, schmacked in the semis, but they bounced back to take the lead going into the finals. And, it was in our hands, and we didn't get it done in the finals, but it was a battle all weekend with us and them. And in Iowa, in their backyard, the fans were loud and on top of us, and the Iowa chants. I mean, it was a fun environment. It was hostile for us, but it was fun nonetheless.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. I mean, it kept me in tune, and I think I was telling you that I I met Reese. I met the Laramie family. I met the daughter in the elevator and the parents in there. And Reese Laramie, she said, what we're doing with us in North Central, we really hope that we're doing something that's growing women's sport, and we hope girls out there are watching our matches and watching this competitive nature that you guys have with each other and growing the sport. So yeah, obviously you guys want to beat each other, but also to be out there for these young ladies and be growing the sport. It's pretty awesome. And I thought it was, was she 19 to be able to speak like that was pretty awesome. Right. And so that was cool. I was going to ask you a question about the Olympic trials, but I guess I'm getting old and I totally forgot. But it definitely fun. Yeah, watching you guys compete was just incredible, and getting to see you guys this weekend was awesome. But I think more people should get the opportunity to come up there and see your campus and see what you guys are doing and be around that town and be around you guys, because it's obviously it's rubbing off. I mean, I know my son right now is getting ready to go compete, and he wrestles. And he's just his mindset when I've spoken to him has been different. He wasn't somebody that he's very he's like his mom, so he's more of like a realist, right? So it's like, okay, so typically it was like, okay, I'm a realist. That guy's at this level and I'm at this level. This is most likely what's going to happen, right? Like that was kind of that thing. And but the conversations we've been having lately has been like, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really focused this. Why not me? So yeah. I hope I think that has to be something that's rubbing off on him being around you guys.
I hope so. I hope that's everybody can walk away from this program after they're done and they're a different person when they come in. I mean, I just hope that our love for wrestling and our competitiveness rubs off on them. But then there's so many, like you talk about the mindset, the perspective on things. That's something we try to show by example, and we talk about it a lot every day. But I think just our coaching staff tries to show that, and just like that, like, man, if you're going to put the work in, why not? Why not you? And I told the guys at the end of this year, like, man, there's guys every year that I never heard of the year before, and then boom, they come on the scene in the fall, and they're like the man. And I said, we need to have guys like that in our program. That it's like, who the hell was that guy? I've never heard of him, and he's a junior at North Central, and then boom, he's the man. He's fighting for a national title. And I mean, that's what good programs do.
And I don't think people realize it because, I mean, obviously I have a kid at the program, so I get to hear things, right? But I think the outside world, I'm watching the D1 NCAAs. I'm watching the Olympic trials. I'm watching the world. And my son is saying, yeah, Dad, that guy trains in our room. That girl trains in our room. That girl. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I don't think that people realize what these coaches do and who comes here to see them and the kids and the other wrestlers. And he's like, we see a lot of those type of athletes that are in the, Chicagoland area that come in here and work with us to get better. So that says a lot right there.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, he's right. I mean, I think I love it when these Chicagoland kids, on the men's side come home for the summer and they're up in our room. There's some big names that you're watching at D1s that have been up in our room training with our guys that I've walked in and seen them, and they've just been friends from high school and kids club and all that. And then, yeah, the girls flying in from all over the country to train with our women's team. I mean, there's really a couple spots in the country right now that are some of the best rooms, and I think we're one of them with what we're doing and the talent we have. And so they want to come in and challenge themselves and spend some time with us, and we're fortunate enough we can do that, and we have been able to do that. So it's fun what's going on right now.
Well, and I mean, we saw one of your girls' coaches wrestle one of your girls in Olympic trials, the biggest tournament that we offer every 4 years, right? So that says a lot too. And you got Zayman there and the team you've got going. It's awesome. But man, I know you probably got to get back and get going to your room and coach and
full day today. Never not, man. It's a sprint every day.
my son in the butt a little bit. That's awesome. Yeah, I know it's been a blessing for him to be up there and be around you guys. And obviously I look forward to seeing him. But yeah, I mean, I'd give anything to see him 6 more minutes in a high school gym. I miss it. Yeah. But man, I appreciate you coming on. I know you guys have a camp this summer, right? A boys
Yeah.
camp coming up. So when I post this and I edit and stuff, I'll make sure that we make that announcement. And anything we missed, anything you wanted to talk about, shout out, anything?
No, man, I just hope, like we've talked, we can get a weekly podcast going starting in the fall to kind of stay up on all things North Central Wrestling. And you've done a phenomenal job of marketing us. And I love the Florida pipeline. There's so many, I don't want to tell our secrets, I guess, but there's a lot of talent out there that I think goes under the radar that I love getting those guys up here. And I think we're treating them right and home away from home when they don't know anybody. And I just want to keep that going. But that's from kids from all over the country, not just Florida, but you got that Florida connection down there for us, Dan.
Yeah, it's been fun. And Chippy too, man. Chippy's he is a loved kid in our state. He's a good kid. So
he's loved in Illinois and Naperville, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
He's a big deal on campus, man.
Yeah. That's what he's the shining star there right now.
Yeah.
Well, like Daniel, I asked him, I said, do you think he'll stay at that weight with Fry? And Daniel said, knowing Chippy, he probably wants to wrestle him again. knowing Chippy's mindset, he's going to stay at the weight that he can stay at, but he's not going to run from anybody. And you're going into Fry's backyard next year in Rhode Island, right? So
right. Nationals are out in Providence, so it'll be fun.
That should be fun. All right, man. Well, obviously I love you guys and what you're doing for my son, but what you're doing for everybody. And it was great to see you. And yeah, I hope we do get a weekly show going. That would be awesome.
I'm down, man. I'll have my coffee ready every week. Let's do it.
I'm ready. Let's do it. You let me know when, and it'll help me too, because obviously I keep up on some of it now, but it would help me actually get in there and learn more about all the athletes and who you've got, and it'll help me too, just stay involved in the program.
Oh yeah, I think I got 30 minutes every week that I can jump on with you and talk, man. But no, thanks for having me on. Just talking wrestling all the time. I love it.
Yeah, like I said, and I do appreciate you. Thanks for what you do up there.
All right, thanks, Dan.